Everybody, Pastor Jim here from the Indian Lake Community Church in the Lighthouse of Indian Lake. Hope this finds you safe, happy, and well on this day. I was thinking it's just about time to head back outside. We had warm weather and I got outside a little bit, did some yard work, messed around. I was thinking the day is coming when I'm going to start doing these videos outside again, and I look forward to that. So I'm not just sitting in the same place every week, every time. And I thought the time is almost here. And then that's when the rain came and the hail started. And so I thought I got to do a video. I'm going to do it inside, but we're getting there pretty soon. Pretty soon we'll be there and we'll be back outside and we'll be enjoying God's natural beauty around us and doing videos, who knows where. But for today, we're inside. And so I kind of lost some inspiration because I was thinking, I was reading my scriptures for the week. I looked all through everything and I was thinking, what am I going to talk about? I want to do this, but I want to, I don't want to just, throw something out there. It's got to be interesting. And I was thinking and praying. And so I thought, I don't know. I threw open my Bible and I just said, what's on this page? And I read it and I was like, no, that's not it. And then I read it again and I was like, oh, wait a minute, that might work. Because the passage that I flipped it open to was from the book of the Gospel of St. John in the 3rd chapter. And this is where the followers of John the Baptist come to him and they're talking about Jesus. And they say, hey, you know that guy you were hanging out with the other day? Well, he's now baptizing people and you should put a stop to that. What's going on? Why in the world would he be baptizing? Why aren't you baptizing? And everyone's going to him instead of you. And at that point, John says, a person can receive only what is given them from heaven. You yourselves can testify that I said I am not the Messiah, but I am sent ahead of him. The bride belongs to the bridegroom. The friend who attends the bridegroom waits and listens for him, and is full of joy when he hears the bridegroom's voice. That joy is mine, and it is now complete. He must become greater, and I must become less. And those are powerful words, because that's not something you hear very often. He must become greater, I must become less. Nobody wakes up in the morning thinking, I want to be a lot less today than I was yesterday. Nobody puts that on their planner as a goal. Everybody wants to be better today than they were yesterday, and et cetera. Nobody wakes up and says, I hope that I'm a little less today than I was yesterday. And I used to love growing up. There was a show, WKRP in Cincinnati. I don't know if you ever watched this thing. I loved it because I worked in radio for a while as a teenager, and also because I love Cincinnati and all these things, and I love this show. And there was a character on there who was the newsman, if you remember. His name was Les Nessman. Les was a little guy with the pocket protector, and he had the tape around his glasses. Had no idea about the sporting world. Chichi Rodriguez, the golfer, he called him Chai Chai Rodriguez. And so he goes to the house of Lonnie Anderson's character, Jennifer, the receptionist. And of course, she's a beautiful woman, and her boyfriend is there, and he's a big muscular dude, and his name is Steel, and it's on his shirt, Steel. And Les says, that's an interesting name. He said, I like that. And Steele says, well, I like to think a man's name says a lot about him. He says, what was your name? And Les says, I'm Les. and that's kind of hard on the ego. I'm Les. And so, you're Steele, I'm Les. That's not a good way to feel about yourself a lot of times. And so the idea of being less is not something that appeals to us, really. I guess if you're trying to lose weight, you want to be less. But other than that, who wants to become less? You don't see the army out there advertising, be less than you can be. It is no, be all that you can be. We're driven. We set goals. We want to accomplish things. We want to be more tomorrow than we are today. That type of mentality, that's what we go for. And so this idea, John the Baptist stating that he must become greater and I must become less, it's kind of radical. But in the church, it's very important. In our Christian life, it's very important because here's the thing. As a pastor, as a church family, it doesn't matter, how big your church is. It doesn't matter how big your church family is. It doesn't matter what your finances are, your programs, or your, all of those kinds of things. And none of that really matters. What really matters is who is all of that pointing towards, okay? And if we start to wrap ourselves up in the size of our church, the size of our church family, how many people are attending, and we use those things, and how much are people giving, and we use that as our benchmark, and then we start to feel good about ourselves because, hey, look at this, then we got a problem, because then Christ is becoming less and we're becoming more. And the church then is promoting itself and its resources and its clergy or whatever, as opposed to Christ. And that's not the natural order of things. John had it right. He said, I must become less, he must become more. In our daily walk as a church, as clergy, as Christians, as church leaders, as the church family, or anything else, we have to ask ourselves the question, when we evaluate ourselves, when we evaluate our programs and attendance, all of these things, why? What's the point? Is that pointing to us? Look what we've done. Or is it pointing to Christ, as it should be? Because this is his church, and all that we do points towards him. So you have a ginormous church building. That's nice. So you have lots of finances. That's nice. People don't actually, you're not giving to a church as much as you're giving back to God, which is your priority. And so when we focus on all of these things, the question has to become, who is this pointing towards? And if it's pointing towards me as clergy or the church family or what have you, then we're out of kilter, and we need to step back and we need to think about our priorities. In our personal lives or in our Christian walk, we have to ask that question. Who does my behavior, who do my accomplishments, what does all of this point to? Is it to me, look what I've done, or is it pointing to Christ? Because all that we do and all that we are, we should do as if we're doing it for Christ, because we are. And so the question is, at the end of the day, does all glory and honor go to God, or do we keep a lot of that for ourselves? All right. John had it right. He said, whatever we do, we are to be less. Christ is to be more. And that is how we are to serve. That's how we're to serve as church, as clergy, as church family, as individuals, as missionaries. Whatever we do, it should never be about us. It should be about Christ. And in all aspects, in the proper order of things, you have to remember that if it's not pointing to Christ, then you need to step back, reevaluate, and ask yourself, what's the point? Who is this pointing to? And who's getting the credit for it? All right. In our daily walks, that's the question. Ask yourself each and every morning, is today the day that I'm going to become less? And if the answer is yes, you're doing all right. He must become greater. We must become less. All right. Good talking to you. Hope to see you soon. Take care and God bless. I really do appreciate you taking the time to watch and listen to this video, and I hope you found some words of encouragement or hope to help you in your walk this week. If you'd like to find out more information about us and our ministry, you can look at one of our Facebook pages. We have one for the Lighthouse at Indian Lake. There's also a Facebook page for the Indian Lake Community Church. If you'd like more detailed information, for example, our location and our times of worship, if you'd like to join us for worship in person, we would love to have you. Or if you want information about how you can join us for worship online, you can visit our websites at www.lighthouseatindianlake.org or www.indianlakecommunitychurch.org. There you'll find information about our in-person worship times or how you can watch us online through the website or through Facebook or through YouTube. Also on there, you'll find out more about who we are and our mission to the Indian Lake community and beyond. And if you'd like to support us through your time and your talent or the giving of your possessions financially, you'll find information how to do so on those sites also. Thanks for listening in. God bless you, and we hope to see you soon.